So a third grader in Minneapolis at a school called Las Estrellas, which is Spanish for the stars. Don't know exactly why so many schools in America, public schools funded with public money, are given Spanish names or names from other countries, other languages. I think that's weird. Don't have anything against it. I just think it's odd that that's the case. I think that it should be that when people come to a different country, that they adjust to the new country, not that the new country bends itself over backward to adjust to their cultures, their languages, and their things. I think that maybe we should go back to that. But that's not really part of the story. What is part of the story is this third grader saw what apparently or allegedly was gay porn on a tablet that the teacher lent him to use because he forgot his laptop at home. So, sounds weird. There's a lot of people probably that know about the story that are totally losing their shit, which is somewhat understandable, but I've got a little bit of a different take on this story as well. It might piss some people off. We'll get into it in just a second. So, it's Wednesday already. The week's going by fast. Wednesday already, 12:10 p.m. here in Germany. It's the 21st of May, 2025. This is the Insanity Report for today. So, okay, so here's the story, right? I got the story sent to me by my buddy K-Mag, who saw it on Brandon Tatum's podcast, Officer Tatum. And it's also been on the news. I think it was local news in Minneapolis that this happened, right? So here's the story as it went. Apparently, according to the father, who was at either a city council or school board meeting, told the school board the story with all the other parents there because he had already sent emails about the incident to the director of the school, etc., etc. Didn't get any answers. So he decided to talk about it publicly at this public meeting. And he said his kid forgot his laptop. The teacher lent him a tablet, even though there was a school laptop available to lend him. So the teacher chose to give the kid his personal tablet to use, even though there apparently was a school laptop he could have used. I don't know why that is. Doesn't matter, right? Apparently, the kid with a group of other kids were doing a project on the tablet. They clicked to open a page and got a bunch of gays hammering each other on camera, some sort of gay porn thing. So that's how the kid described it. Naked men laying on top of each other is what the kid apparently said to his dad. And now it's a big drama, right? Which, on the one hand, I do understand, because, you see, the schools have gotten a pretty bad reputation for all the wokeness, for all the LGBTQ, trying to push sexualized topics on little children and shit. So this just fans the flames of that issue, right? So let's take away all of that shit for just a second and look at the incident isolated like it is, okay? Let's take a look at it objectively like it is. So, first of all, it's not great that the kid saw gay porn on his teacher's tablet, right? Now, back in the day when I was in school, if this would have happened, now we didn't have tablets or smartphones, and we didn't use computers, you know what I mean? There were computers, we just didn't have them for every lesson. There was a computer room where you went, you maybe took a class in computer stuff, and you went and used it for 45 minutes on the day that you're in computer class. But that was about it. We weren't generally, there was no laptops and shit, right? Now let me tell you, right? I'm Gen X, okay? Gen X handled stuff like this completely differently, okay? Let me tell you what would have happened if any one of us, when I was 8 or 9, which is 3rd grade, right, would have found a gay porn magazine in the drawer of our teacher's desks, right? We probably wouldn't have ratted him out to our parents, okay? That probably would not have happened. We would have mocked this teacher relentlessly. And the teacher would have probably had the gumption, you know, to say, this was a bad mistake. I should have never let this happen. I'm I can't walk through the halls of the school without being pointed and laughed at. I'm going to quit. They would have been gone, right? Teachers have quit because of me and my friends on 2 occasions in my lifetime, and it was for way less than me finding gay porn in their drawers. So let's start there, right? I get it that we live in snowflake land and everybody's going to make a big giant fucking deal out of every little thing. And in this case, I get it because a child is involved and all the LGBTQ trans fucking insanity has been going on for 5-6 years for sure, maybe longer. And this just kind of seems like that, right? So they're like, oh, again, a teacher. Because when I first saw the story, I didn't watch the video yet. I just saw the headline. And when I first saw it, I thought, oh, okay, well, great. So a gay teacher or some LGBTQ teacher is showing gay porn to his students. That's not the case at all, right? What most likely happened, okay, because the whole thing is speculation, right? Because we're taking the word of a father who said that his 3rd grader told him a thing, right? Now, the fact that the teacher up till now has not denied it and apparently chastised the child for invading his private space when the kid opened the porn, right? Means that it probably happened, okay? He's not denying it happened. I'm not, and the kid is probably not lying, okay? But it is all tidbits of stuff that we're all hearing from different angles. So we hear it from the father, we hear it on the news, we hear it from Officer Tatum, and we kind of get the picture, right? Now, was the teacher LGBTQ or gay? I don't know, but if you got gay porn on your computer in an open tab, it's likely. You know what I mean? It's likely. Nothing wrong with that. He can be gay, okay? As long as he's not pushing his gayness on 3rd graders or that's not the main topic of their class discussions, then all is okay. He can be gay. That's not a problem, right? Now, he's a dumb motherfucker, though, okay? Because if you're going to watch gay porn on your personal tablet, hopefully not at school, you know what I mean? But let's give him some grace and say it was the night before, maybe you don't give that tablet to a student, okay? Especially if they're a 3rd grader, right? Now, do I think that this tab was already open when the kids got the tablet, right? It's unlikely, okay? And let's be real. 3rd graders have been on devices, most of them, for at least 2 or 3 years by the time they reach 3rd grade, right? They know, some of these kids that are 8 or 9 years old know how to use a smartphone better than their parents do. So they know what a browser history is. They know how to click the browser history open, right? It's pretty easy. I mean, if you lose your page, right? You accidentally click the wrong page away. And then you click open a new tab and you click on the search bar. A drop-down menu comes out, everybody knows it, with all of the recent searches or all the recent web pages in there. It's very easy to land yourself on one of those recent search pages when trying to open the page that you accidentally lost. So either the kids lost the page they were working on, tried to open a new one, clicked on the wrong link and got to the porn. Or it's also possible, which is probably what we would have done, right? You know what I'm saying? We would have done that. Or the kids were like, let's check the teacher's search history, right? Let's take a look. We've got his tablet. It's his tablet. Let's take a look. And look what they found, right? Now, either one of those scenarios is plausible. I don't think the scenario is the way it sounds right now. It does not sound like it was the teacher's intent to show gay porn to the student. Is it really stupid? Fuck yeah, it is. Should he fucking leave? Resign from that position and maybe go to a different school or, depending on what apparently he's got no other complaints against him. So we can't say that he's, on the radar of, doing something untoward to any of these kids. None of that shit is a question at the moment, right? It doesn't look like he's ever been charged with anything before. Right now, we don't know anything about the guy. Nobody knows. I don't know what his name is. We don't know if he's really gay or not. Although the gay porn thing probably does help you make that decision to see if he's gay or not. Either way, to save his own face, right, and to show a little bit of respect for his utterly stupid act, right? It was dumb. It's dumb as hell, right? Yeah, I don't know. Who does that? You know what I'm saying? At least before you give the shit to the kid, at least go through it quick and fucking erase the search history if you know there's probably gay porn on it. You know what I mean? And that just makes sense. So to be that stupid is a problem if you're a teacher, right? That's a problem. But like I said, in my day, we would have made fun of this teacher probably until he just left. You know what I mean? We would have never let up on this, ever. We would have laughed about this for the next 100 years. Kids are relentless, okay? I remember being a kid, okay? And they're relentless, okay? So, we would have mocked this teacher out of school. Now, that, I don't know if it's going to happen these days. I don't know how well the teacher's being protected. I don't know how much trouble the kids get in these days if they make fun of a teacher. I'm assuming in la woke snowflake land schools like this one probably is. I'm sure that the kids get in massive trouble if they talk any shit about LGBTQ or gay people or anything. So maybe that wouldn't happen in this case anymore. In our day, he would have been gone on his own volition. And let's see if he leaves. Right now he's suspended. I think he should leave. But I do not think, like Officer Tatum says, that the dude should be arrested. I don't think that he should be put in prison in any way, shape, or form. Because, let's be honest, as stupid as this mistake was, it could have happened to anybody, okay? It really could. It really could. I mean, plenty of people watch porn on their devices, okay? They don't always delete the search histories. You know what I mean? Maybe you do if you're married and you want your wife finding out, or if you've got a boyfriend or girlfriend, you don't want them finding out. Maybe then you delete the search history. If you're single, you're by yourself, or you watch porn with your partner, there's no real reason for you to delete your search history, unless, of course, you're planning on giving it to a fucking 3-year-old, right? I mean, even parents at home, before they give their tablet or their phones to their, it's not 3-year-old, third grader. Before they give their phones or tablets to their third graders, they would be smart to make sure their browser history is clean, right? Because the kids are not stupid, right? They are going through your shit, okay? Let's be honest. Like I said, a lot of them know how to use the phone better than you do. And so to think that they're not going through your shit is dumb. They are, right? So it'd be smart that everybody takes a lesson from this and starts paying attention and thinks, okay, before I give my phone or my computer or whatever to a third grader, or to my child, or to the child of a neighbor or whatever, maybe I should make sure there's no weird shit on it. But this is not something that somebody should end up in jail over. He should lose his job. I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? But what I kind of don't agree with, what it always pisses me, when people go out with this moral outrage, right? That shit pisses me off, okay? Because these moral outrages are usually done by people that, if you take a closer look at their activities and their behavior, suddenly they have no right to be morally outraged about anything, okay? Like, a lot of the people that are morally outraged about this issue because the kid saw porn on the teacher's lap or teacher's tablet, right? They're the same people that have given their kid a device to play with, to use, ever since they were old enough to watch TV. You know what I mean? Because it's the easy way to parent these days. It's like, okay, I don't really have to do anything with my kid. I can just give him a phone or a fucking tablet and put him in the fucking corner on the couch, and they're done. They're happy, which is true. They are. They're like that, right? But any kids that are third graders that have phones or devices are already being exposed to porn. They're already looking at shit that they're not supposed to be looking at. And not every parent has some sort of parental watch program on the phones, right? And I see it all the time. Every restaurant we go to, the kids got phones and tablets. Every time I see kids, I'm in a big truck, so I see the cars drive by me, and I can see in the cars. Every kid, right? Every kid in a car is on some sort of device, no matter the age. You know what I mean? No matter the age, they're all on a device. Which in a long car ride, I totally get it. What my point is here is that the people that are morally outraged that a kid accidentally saw some porn, right, are the same people that let their kids get raised by a fucking Samsung, right? Or an Apple, or some kind of tablet. See? So, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? If you're allowing your kid at that age to have a device on the internet all day, every day, never send them outside to play, never do anything with them, other than give them the phones to play with games and whatever, then really you can't be that morally outraged, right? Because the chance that something like this would happen to you is pretty high, right? Plus, again, it seems at this moment that this was completely accidental, right? It does not seem from the story at all, and nobody's accusing this teacher at all of purposely doing this. It would have been different if he would have, if there's some way we can prove that he intended to show this porn to this kid, that would be a whole different story, right? It'd be a whole different story, okay? But that does not seem to be the case at this moment. So we also shouldn't all morally outrageously act as if it is the case, right? Because that's what people are kind of doing. What it looks like, it's like an accident, a stupid accident that by a stupid teacher, but the reaction to it almost would make you think that this was done on purpose and that the teacher is like trying to molest this kid or something. And you can't really conflate those two things. If there's some sort of proof that that's the case, then absolutely the teacher should be put in jail, right? But right now there's no proof of that. And I think we should just wait it out, you know? And I think the teacher should probably resign from the school, right? If he doesn't, maybe he should be fired. Oh, wow, it's raining like shit. If he doesn't, maybe he should be fired, right? But he should really just resign on his own. That would be the honorable thing to do, don't you think? That'd be the honorable thing to do. So anyway, it's a crazy story, right? It's kind of crazy, but also not that crazy when you look at the amount of kids that have devices these days and are using them. They're probably exposed to all kinds of horrific shit that none of us ever were, you know what I mean, at our age, at that age. But that's just now the Pandora's box that's been opened with the internet and devices and stuff. That's the world we live in, right? And unless parents start raising their children maybe without phones, without devices, right? No, there's very few, but there's parents out there that say, okay, these kids are not getting any phones of their own, any devices, internet, blah, 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 until they're like 16 or something, which I agree with, you know what I mean? I do agree with that. I think that's probably a good idea. There's just a lot of parents that don't have the balls to do it. They don't want to, because it won't be popular, I'll tell you that right now, right? It won't be popular. For a little while, your kids are probably gonna hate you. And there's too many parents out there that are too worried about their kids not liking them and not being their best friends, that they don't parent correctly. And this thing with the phones and devices is, in my opinion, a major problem, right? And everybody can scream all they want about, well, you don't have kids, so you don't understand. Well, no, I don't need to have kids to understand, right? I understand, right? And I'm telling you, if I had kids, they would not get devices until a certain age, right? I would decide with my wife what that age could be, and depending on their behavior and their ability to critically think, then I will decide when they can get it. But it's not a given that they would get a cell phone or a tablet to play with all day long. I just wouldn't do that. Now, you can not believe me or believe me. That's up to you. I don't care, right? There's just too many parents that do, and then to be one of those parents and then to go out and say, well, this is fucking outrageous. You know what I'm saying? This is outrageous. My kid is going to be traumatized forever. Well, wait a second here. Whoa. You know what I mean? They might be traumatized, but it's unlikely. If that kid has a device of his own, it's unlikely they will be traumatized from any of this, right? Because they've probably already seen it all because they have access to a phone. So while I get that this is not a great story for parents to hear, and it pisses people off, and it pisses people off more because of the LGBTQ bullshit, right? So I don't think it's a great story. I don't think it should have happened, but it seems like a pretty much an accident that was caused by a dumbass teacher, right? That's what it looks like to me. That's kind of my take on it. I'm not going to jump right away on the bandwagon of having this guy arrested and thrown in prison forever, because like I said, to me it seems like an accident. That's what it looks like. We'll see. If I hear anything else about this, then we will see where it goes, and we'll take a look at what happens afterwards. All right, people. Thought I'd give you that story for today. Have a good one. Hopefully everybody's day goes fantastically and the week goes by fast so that it's weekend again soon. We'll see you guys tomorrow.